Welcome to Macro Crest, where we focus on fundamentals for our direction and technicals for our entries. Okay, so uh, last week on economic calendar, we had some beautiful informations like the unemployment rate claims coming in far positive than expected, and then we had a very solid labor data. Now, the previous was 6.9. If you look at this is from 7.1 to 6.5. That's solid for the labor. Okay, then the core PCE, which is what the preferred measurement of inflation by the Fed Reserve, it's at 0.2, the same as previous. So there's nothing changing here, right? Which is solid for the dollar if you ask me. And the analysis for the dollar came out as planned, exactly the way it was we expected. So it's dropping. Now, I don't see any form of structure to push this price higher. But now, here's the thing: this is a structural higher. We might have a liquidity grab, then we push to the upside. Why? Because while looking at what we would be having next week is we would be having this FOMC, and then we'll be looking at the economic projections for next year. Right, this is very important. If the Fed comes in negative dovish, the market is pricing in a cut, which still going along with Powell saying that there might be no rate cut in December. So I'm bullish on that. That's the only reason why I'm bullish on the dollar. And inflation is still okay and every other thing. So apart from that, we have the yen average cash earnings, which is bad. The market is pricing in 2.2, which most of the time, if you look at history, it's always coming in lower or equivalently the same, which is still bad, which does not show that there might be any hike soon. Nothing. The Aussie Australian Reserve, I think they will just hold as the market is pricing in. So that's also still strong for the Aussie, except in the conference they'll tell us, okay, it's to in the conference they'll tell us something about being dovish, and then we have the BOC, which of course is going to be positive. They're not going to cut rates, and so that's the reason why I'm bullish on CAD, bullish on Aussie. The dollar I'm neutral kind of. So here's the thing about the Swiss: they're also holding their policy. It's going to be there's not going to be even a cut or a hike. But it's this conference that is going to be very important for us because we don't know if it's going to be a bullish one or a dovish one. But the SNB, I think, is already showing us weak hands already. And then we have GDP for the pound. But that aside, let's go to the chart. So Dixie, I'm neutral, so it might be bullish, it might be dovish, but I'll still give you reasons why I would be looking too long. So this is let's start with my preferred chart, the NU, right? So I expected NU to come to this supply. All right, sorry about my network. This is the supply area for a short. Now, previous month weekly candle is bullish and at a weekly supply. So it's telling me okay, it's time to short. Okay, so this is the demand area, which doesn't really make any sense. So if there is a break, I'm not in this position. I was looking to enter in on this position. So if I have a break to the downside, I will short. So this will be my high probability for a short. And for USD card, now the analysis played out more than I expected, but it did not trigger me in. So I said something about price entering this supply, then we short that D1 supply, but unfortunately it didn't. So I don't know what to expect from here, but I'm still bullish on card, massively bullish on card. For USD Swiss, now here is the pair that I'll be looking out for if there is a dollar strength. Now why? Because if I expect price to bounce off these points before I long, but now it's far away. So I might Monday, Tuesday, you might see a push to the downside. Probably now the USD JPY also is solid for a long. Okay, so I'll be expecting to push this price higher. Why? Technically, previous weekly candle is a bearish candle, but it's showing me bullish push to the upside. So this is a weekly rally based rally. The price gets into the D1 H4 supply. That's the question you need to answer. And for me, yes, but this is not really a D1 a weekly demand, or sorry, a 4 hours demand. So there was an imbalance somewhere here. Would the price hit there? I'm not too sure. But if I have this, of course, I would definitely long. So that's for the USD, and then the pound USD still looks okay to me. It's at a supply, but it's not too clear. Maybe price might come to this demand. Looking at it from week D1, might come to this demand and then push price higher. Okay, so that aside, for the card, I'll come to the Aussie. For the card, this is what I was expecting. I expected price to come lower, but it didn't. So this is now a demand. We should see a push to the upside on that. And the pound card, which is the setup I took. Yes, so this was the setup I took, and expecting price to go lower. Why? Because um previous weekly candle, what we see here is massive bearish momentum candle. And I said earlier there is nothing here some time ago, so there's nothing there, and this looks like liquidity grab. So this is a liquidity grab in my opinion, which means this must be taken out potentially. And if we look at it from a monthly chart, there is absolutely nothing here, absolutely nothing. I can't say anything. So is this the main beginning of a reversal? Is this the main beginning of a reversal, like something like this? Probably. I don't know, but let's just see. So this is where I'm looking to short. And remember, the Canadian bank, BOC, they've started shifting from a dovish standpoint, loose to a tightening policy of some sort. NZD card also. So this is what we looked out for. This was the analysis. So I'm still expecting a short, at least to this point, for NZD card based on card. Now for Aussie strength, this is Swiss is weak, so there is nothing here. So I expect price to head to this fifth, the 0.55 area. All right. Now previous weekly candle, and now I expect price potentially to come back to this demand. Okay, so we have two demands, which is that and this. But I expect this one, so that's what I'm looking out for Aussie. We look at Aussie EN. So there is a this D1 demand. We look for buys there. For EA, if price could come higher back to this point, then I will short this supply zone here. Then I might short depending. But it looks good. Why? Because this is our range. Uh, let's just use this range. This is the range. Okay, so basically that is what I'm looking out for. Pound Swiss also is bullish. Why? The Swiss is, I'm looking at weakness in the Swiss of some sort, but I think the Swiss interest rate decision would actually seal the entire thing. So I don't know. Let's see how it goes, because there's a lot of room for this NZD Swiss to go higher from current price. All right. So that's all I've got for the week. Let's have a nice week.